God, Donna only has 2 legs and 2 arms, because if she had 3, then Keith would be mad. Hey, buddy. Buddy? We don't hear her.
Oh, your quirks.
Oh.
Some of which I'm familiar with. Some
yes,
of which...
But, okay,
not so much.
but it is quirkiness, right? It's quirkiness, not OCD?
Well, it depends. I mean, I think the definition of OCD is that something is debilitating. You know, like I know there are people who have OCD that really, they can't get out of the house because they're washing their hands or because they're checking the oven. I mean, they literally can't leave. They're overcome with an anxiety so profound that their life doesn't continue. They just spin around in a circle of OCD. I don't think that's what being bothered because things aren't a certain way. I don't think that that's true.
Thank you. That's precisely my point.
And I think it's a little bit to just say, like, oh, I like my records to be alphabetized, you know, like, or it bothers me, like that discounts people who really are suffering from OCD.
I only like to eat food that tastes good, so I'm kind of OCD.
But you don't think that, like, and trust me, I want nothing more in the world than to be told I don't have OCD, but you don't think that, like, these things that slow down my day, so to speak, is like a much smaller version of the same thing? I mean, like, is it the same?
I think it could be. I mean, but just like anything, you know, if your kid was hyperactive and it only ran around, you know, hyperactively for an hour every day, they probably wouldn't diagnose it or put it on medication. It would be like, okay, this kid spazzes out for an hour every day. Okay. You know, like, just a true hyperactive kid would be one that literally couldn't sit in a chair for any hour of the day.
I don't want to be
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to be insulting at all, but I think this borders on a subconscious desire to have a thing. A subconscious desire to be that guy about something.
But it stems from, why would I have had that in childhood? These are things that date back to my childhood.
Because OCD, actually, that's the way that OCDs form. We all have a little bit of OCD tendency as kids, and the difference between normal people and people who have the actual disorder is that it never shuts off. Like, I can remember being a kid and thinking that I had to touch things a certain way, or I have, you know, but around adolescence, you just stop thinking that way. And, you know, or it really firmly takes root and your life becomes nothing but that.
Basically, you're just saying, Keith, grow up. Basically.
Count to 3 and get over yourself, buddy.
You know what? I think that you can, there's no problem with the 3s. How about just starting to eat food? Maybe that would be a place to start, because maybe that's where the craziness stems in. Because that, I think, you know what? As I think about that, that to me is an OCD thing. The fact that you can't eat condiments to me is way weirder than 3s.
Now I think you're crazy.
He can eat them. He doesn't like the taste of them.
Yeah, I find them gross.
No, it's not that you find them gross. You've told me that you can't do it. You have not been able to be in a room with ketchup.
No, I can do it. I just know that I'm probably going to throw up because I'm so grossed out by it.
Well, that means you can't do it. Like, if we pin you down to the floor and we shove ketchup in your mouth, yes, you can do it. But that doesn't mean that. It means that you can't.
I think if given the proper incentive, if there was something really like that you wanted, you'd be able to get over it.
Yeah, like if you told me I'll give you $1 million to eat this bottle of ketchup, I would do it in a second. If I offered you
$5, if you offered me $5 to eat something that I didn't like, I'd eat it. If I offered you $50 to eat ketchup, you probably wouldn't eat it.
Things that bad, buddy?
If we got David Bowie to sit on your face, Keith, but he had ketchup on his butt, you would do it.
Theoretically,
hands down.
Theoretically, I'm not attracted to David Bowie, believe it or not.
About David
Ziggy Stardust.
If you got David Bowie to say, you know, hey, how about me and you, you know, write an album? How about me and you go to Berlin like me and Lou did and write an album?
You'd eat ketchup for that.
But I know a guy there.
But you have to eat these 3 packs of ketchup. 3 packs of ketchup.
They have to be packs? I can't just eat food with ketchup on it?
And 3 of them.
Oh, no, that's on the back burner now if there's ketchup involved. I'll murder a member of my family to not have to eat ketchup.
Then you only do it 2 times.
Technically, you can eat ketchup, but yeah, it's beyond being grossed
I wasn't
out
being
by
all right. I didn't come on here to be like, oh, hey, guess what I got wrong with me? You know, like I
and no one thinks that was your mindset. It's just, like I'm saying, I think it's a weird subconscious thing in the psyche that brings about the especially the self-diagnosis of OCD when it's not something that debilitates you, like exactly
That's
like
coupled with my hypochondria.
Yeah, exactly like Vanessa's saying, the fact that it's not a debilitating thing, the fact that you can leave the house, the fact that you can function, the fact that there are ways for you to work around. That to me, I think, is a subconscious wanting to be that guy thing. And like I said,
I think so many people we know, like, because we kind of move in a circle that's a little left of center, like that everyone wants to have like a thing that makes them different from just regular people.
But again,
so I don't think that Keith is the only one who kind of
certainly not.
In the concept of having like a different type way of interacting with the world. I think most people we know do that.
And
Certainly.
I would be willing to accept that, except, again, this stems from early childhood.
I'll go so far as to say you're alternative.
Well, thank you. That's what I've been looking for. Fred counted 3. I'm cured.
See, I was thinking extreme.
But this stems from early childhood, so that's why I don't think that that's what it is, like, and early childhood, I wasn't saying like, wow,
subconscious,
I want the Rock Palace to like me.
Subconscious is the thing.
But all kids have that. But all kids are weird that way. Like that's not something that only you had in childhood. Like that's the way kids are. Like kids have weird OCD things that they. Like it's part of the way that we try to structure the world so that we know our place in it, and that's normal childhood behavior. The fact that you held on to some of them and didn't let go of them like most people do, like that's interesting, but I don't think it means that you have a disease or a disorder.
All right. I mean, I just disagree with Chris's analysis of wanting to be that guy, because I don't think when I'm in a room alone with an envelope full of money, I think wanting to be that guy is not even subconsciously forcing me to do that.
Subconsciously, I think it is. I think that has everything to do with it. I think that it has everything to do with it. Like,
you have to get me to a psychiatrist.
That's what I was just going to say. Would you want to go to a psychiatrist if I set it up? If I set it up
and recorded it?
Yes, exactly.
Or do it on the air.
You want to do it?
We have a couch right here to have you lay down on. And by the way, I'm not trying to be insulting when I'm saying this, and I apologize if it's coming off that way. I just, I
just disagree with you. I'm not insulted by it. I just disagree with you. I think.
Of course, you're going to disagree with it. You're living it. Of course, you're going to disagree.
And
with
you
it.
said you wanted to see a psychiatrist, right?
Of course,
I
want to
see a psychiatrist because
I want to play institutionalized by suicide fantasies.
I want to bitch about my parents and
You're
when
the
I
one
was
that's crazy.
When I was
Want to throw a fountain out a window?
when
I ripped that book that day.
When I unfortunately stepped into a world of substances, and I was forced to undertake some sessions with a qualified person, I found it to be incredibly, I don't know what the word is, good.
Yeah, that would be a good.
Gay.
Do you have health insurance?
Yeah,
So
I have
let's-
good health insurance.
So start seeing a therapist, dude.
My wife wants me too bad. She's insane
But
with
it's
the
not a
fact that
matter
I panic if I don't talk to her for 5 minutes. I just said, well, obviously she's dead, like.
Yeah, I don't.
And that she blames my parents. And my mom is like, obvious. My mom to this day is still like that, but like her sons are in her 30s, nearing 40, and she's like, my brother, like, well, I don't see his car parked because we all live in the same building. I don't see his car parked. So, in her head, it's like, well, he's dead.
You think the worst.
Well, but that's obvious, though. I mean, he has to die. Yeah, I don't.
You have to die,
In all
brother.
fairness, Keith, you gave your mother a lot of things to worry about. So,
Some might say, I guess.
And when you
that
saw-
probably didn't help the situation.
And when you saw that therapist before, I mean, OCD really wasn't the top topic of conversation, I'm sure.
I intentionally never mentioned that stuff. I wanted
Sure.
to bad, but I was so afraid of her saying, yeah, you have OCD, and because they used to say in the group sessions how drugs get rid of OCD tendencies. And a lot of people that have OCD turn to drugs because, like especially opiates, kind of melt away that whole thing. I guess the way they melt away any kind of negativity. But like,
I love you to death. That stinks of cop out.
oh no,
That
I
stinks
understand.
of
Yeah,
blaming.
I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm saying they used to say that in the session, so that's why I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to avoid that entirely.
Okay.
You know what? I wasn't 100% for the like she really, the woman. She was a great woman, but she
Hot?
really. She really